Hello and welcome to the weather update. I know it's after 11, and I do apologize. I just wanted to stay away from here as long as I possibly could, since today was a pretty hot day, and it is cooled off tonight, but not where I live. But you can see fairly clear skies, maybe a few cumulus clouds, and maybe a little bit of haze out there. Definitely, the haze seemed to improve toward we got toward later in the afternoon, and I actually was able to get outside and enjoy it a little bit with some pines. But tonight, you can see the temperatures are, still 70 in that alley of hell of mine. Meanwhile, most areas are down to the mid-60s, 64 degrees at Islip, 57 at West Hampton. 70, there you go. It's basically LaGuardia where I live. That's basically what it is in that alley. And look at that, Tom's River's down to 59 degrees. But it was a pretty warm day today. In fact, record-breaking warmth today. And we're going to go right now to that climate report for Islip because we had a record high of 83 degrees. That beat the old record of 82. Normal high is supposed to be 68, so we're 15 degrees above normal on the high. The low of 59 was 7 degrees above normal, so that puts us 11 degrees above normal for the day at Islip. Central Park, 83 degrees was your high, 14 degrees above normal on the high, and 13 degrees above normal on the day. Let's look at Newark. 85 degrees there, 14 degrees above normal on the high, and 12 degrees above normal for the day. And we'll see if JFK, I don't know if anyone else had any records set. I think it was only Islip. Let's see, Bridgeport. So I think it was only Islip that had that record high. But it was pretty warm here on Long Island, 83-degree record high, which, again, is ridiculous for October. So 63 right now at Islip. At least it's cooled off to 63. Like I said, where I live, it's a lot warmer than that. So you can see here, temperatures made it into the low 80s today, actually almost mid-80s. We'll say low 80s. And it was humid, too. You can see dew points, particularly in the middle of the day, got as high as 68 degrees. And, again, it's because of all that moisture in the ground that's just continuing to evaporate when the sun hits it from all that rain we've had. But you can see, humid today, warm, and depending on where you were, downright hot, obviously. So let's put the highs on the map for you, and you'll see here that highs low 80s across much of Long Island. Out in the Forks, you had upper 70s. The city, you had close to the mid 80s, as well as northern New Jersey. However, Jersey Shore areas like Tom's River, only 82, only got in the low 80s. So not really a big difference between there and Islip. And that's probably attributed to the light westerly winds we had for much of the day before a sea breeze that developed later on. Let's look at the lows. And you'll see here, got down to 52 in West Hampton, got down to 59 at Islip, 61 at Farmingdale, and 66 at LaGuardia, which is probably what the alley will get down to tonight, and mid-50s as well. So, yep. So, let's go take a look at our weather map, and you'll see we've still got the high pressure under control. However, you'll see that frontal system that's coming off to the west. And that is also sparking off some thunderstorm activity here. And, wow, quite a bit of severe weather, actually. Looks like Dallas is getting hit pretty hard with some pretty severe thunderstorms right now. I know, talking about severe weather in October, believe it or not. Let's take a look and see how much lightning these things are spawning. I'm sure they're spawning a lot of lightning. Oh, yeah, tons of lightning. So they're getting nailed in Texas right now. Some pretty severe thunderstorms, and these might actually be causing some power outages, too. So they're getting hammered pretty good. Let's go to poweroutage.us. And, yep, Texas has got 49,000 as well as Oklahoma 10,000 because you got a very warm, humid air mass over there. So if we go to our station plot here, you'll see the kind of air mass that you have coming up ahead of this front into Texas. And you'll see, doesn't look that crazy. Oh, yeah, it is bad. It is bad. 81 with the dew point. All right, 81. So you got this warm air coming off the Gulf here, ahead of the front, 82. There you go. There's that juiced up air. Dew point is 74. So that's the kind of juiced up air. Looks like we even have a tornado warning in effect for one of these thunderstorms right now. So tornado warning remains in effect for northwestern Ellis County. So it looks like they're getting hit pretty hard with some severe thunderstorms. Here's a weather site that's got a northwest wind at 48, gusting to 54 in this thunderstorm. So, it's pretty intense thunderstorms hitting that area right now. Numerous warnings out for that area. The other storminess that we've got to watch is Tropical Storm Phillipe, and this is going to play a role in our weather. We're not going to get hit by it, but it's going to play a role in our weather this weekend. Phillipe is still producing rains in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. Tropical storm conditions expected on Bermuda Thursday night, Friday. Its location, 23.8 north, 66.1 west, about 380 miles north of St. Thomas, then about 590 miles south of Bermuda. Maximum sustained winds are 40 miles an hour. Moving north at 13 miles an hour. Minimum central pressure, 1004 millibars, 29.65 inches. Looking at the map, this is where it gets interesting. So go here, you'll see it's going to evolve into an extratropical storm as it heads into the Gulf of Maine, but it's like I said, it's coming close to us, so it's going to stir up the oceans again. We're going to have this. It's not going to become a hurricane. Probably should stay a tropical storm. We will look at the models and see, but that is definitely something. That's the other storminess that we're going to have to be concerned about. So let's go to the latest Let me go back to satellite here, and we're going to look at Phillipe on the satellite. This is Phillipe. Looking pretty disorganized, but you still see a decent amount of convection going on there. So, going and looking at the models here, you see that high pressure staging control for tomorrow, and then you see this is Phillipe over here. We're looking at the 18Z GFS, and you can see it actually looks like it's trying to intensify it a little bit. You see that front approaching. Phillipe intensifies. Luckily, it doesn't hook. It hooks a little bit to the west, but you'll notice that it does deepen a little bit as it comes close to us here, as it moves east, well east of Montauk, east of Cape Cod, but still a fairly deep low. But that might help actually pull some moisture out of this cold front. We'll have to see how it's going to interact with the cold front. But at the very least, it's going to kick up the surf, and we've seen a lot of beach erosion. It's been in the news a lot lately. You can see the storm goes up into eastern Canada, and then it kind of sits there. So that's going to keep us in a northwest flow through much of next week, and that means a much cooler weather with the trough that we're going to see next week. So let's go take a closer look, and we will show you. Actually, let's go to current storms, and we'll take a look at Phillipe on the models here, and you'll see here most of them track it due east, but you can see how it actually goes this way and then turns northwestward. So a lot of the models take it northwestward into the Great Lakes again. Very strange, but again, this is because of the jet stream. And you can see a lot of the models doing that. The good news is it does stay a tropical storm. Only one model takes it up to a hurricane. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think it's going to stay a tropical storm for the most part, but it still could intensify perhaps as it moves northward into our area. So we're going to show you a few more models here. Show the GFS. Let's go look at the Icon model as well. This is the new 0Z run of the Icon, which we actually have a decent amount of it in, out to 84. I think so. It goes out pretty far, and you can see here, it takes it well east, but you can see it deepens it a little bit, but it goes well east of us. But you could still see rain perhaps setting up, and it depends how this interacts with the cold front. If it pulls up any of the moisture from this storm, we could see some enhanced rainfall over parts of our area. It looks like it's trying to do that over the east part. GFS not really on board with that option at all. But you will notice we go and we look at the winds. You'll see it's a decent wind field with it, but we're not going to really be impacted by the winds. Nova Scotia might, parts of Maine might, but it will affect the wave heights, and you can see that there. So we'll start seeing the surf come up probably Saturday, and then even on Sunday it's still going to be high, and there could be some pretty rough surf in New England and in parts of Maine and also Nova Scotia over the weekend from this. So let's go to the HRRR model now. We have definitely have the 0Z HRRR in. So we'll run this through, and you'll see no precipitation. Here comes our front. We're going to start seeing some rain chances enter the picture on Friday, but you see it's mostly scattered. Here again is Phillipe right here. So it's going to be interesting to see how this interacts with the cold front. The HRRR only goes out this far, and you can see it's not really showing a whole lot of rain for Friday, just some very widely scattered showers. However, if we look at the NAM 3, which we actually have the whole 0Z NAM 3 in because I'm running late, you'll see, again, there may be some light sprinkles or maybe drizzle around Friday, but not really that much rain. But you see there is a slug of moisture that's coming that's associated with Phillipe. Looks like it's traveling over Cape Cod. But for us, it still looks like it's mostly of the scattered shower variety for us for Saturday. So it doesn't look like it'll be the same kind of washout we had last Saturday. I don't think we're going to see anything like that. And if we go back to the GFS and we look at this kind of tells us. So you see we're in the dry air now, dry air tomorrow. You see the green there. The deep greens stay to the east. You see that, how the deep greens are staying to the east? And that would be mostly where the heavier rain is going to fall. And then the dry air comes back in by later Saturday night. So let's go back to the HRRR. And we will go ahead and look at our dew points and wind flow, which, again, the models don't agree on this for tomorrow. So the HRRR wants to bring out a lot more humidity with the southeast wind. You see that. And that's going to also affect the cloud forecast. And then obviously we have the humidity around Friday as well. Higher humidity levels. There's your dry air trying to come in there. Looking at your temperatures for your Thursday, you'll see after starting out, right, might get down to 60 degrees in the cooler areas. Certainly not in the hellhole I'm living in. But you'll see here temperatures make it up to the low to mid 70s. Not as warm tomorrow, with more of clouds and an onshore flow. That's what this is according to the HRRR. Not dropping much tomorrow night, and then for Friday, it's gonna, with all the cloud cover, we're probably gonna have trouble making it up to 70 degrees. That's the HRRR's opinion. However, every model is different, and if we look at the GFS for tomorrow, you see the dew points are much lower for tomorrow. Dew points generally are in the 40s, so it has a wedge of dry air over us, and that would also, mean more sunshine for tomorrow, less clouds. Southeast winds, so it will be cooler. And then as we get into Friday, that's when we'd see the moisture levels increase. And then we'd see there's their front for Saturday. Much drier and cooler air comes in. Much more normal weather for October comes in by Sunday. Your temperatures, again, for tomorrow's GFS, you can see it's warmer. 70, mid to upper 70s, maybe 80 degrees in some inland locations. Cooler on Friday. And then Saturday, here comes the cooler air after being in the upper 60s. Saturday night, Sunday morning, we could see 40s. And then Sunday, we're going to struggle to make it into the low 60s. It's going to be much, much, much cooler behind this front. So let's look at cloud cover here. And you'll see this is the GFS. And you can see it doesn't really have a whole lot of cloud cover, just scattered high clouds for tomorrow. It doesn't really bring the thicker clouds in until Friday. And then we're going to have to deal with the clouds on Saturday. And it might not be that much of a washout. It might just be scattered showers. It might not be raining constantly. I don't think it's going to be anything like we had last Saturday for certain. So let's look at the RGM here. We actually have the 0Z RGM to look at. So you can see it is showing a little bit of fog over the east end. Perhaps we might see some of that. But that does burn off by later in the afternoon, generally later in the morning. And another mostly sunny day with a little bit of cooler temperatures according to the RGEM model. But every model, like I said, every model is different. If you go to the NAM, which has much more moisture, like the HRRR, it wants to have a lot of clouds around. So I think that maybe there's a little of a bias here. We're going to have to see how the morning starts, how many of these clouds develop. I think it's overdoing it, but we'll have to see. Either way, we will see the sun tomorrow. There may be some more clouds mixed in. Generally more, I think, right on the coast, but I still think it should become mostly sunny by later in the afternoon. You have the FV3 already, which is the GFS. That only goes out to 10Z. We have the 0Z run to that. We do have the 12Z here. You can see mostly these are higher level clouds that we would see for tomorrow. But tomorrow will not be as hot as today. That's the bottom line. It will be cooler. So let's go next to the smoke. I'll just run the smoke model already. I really wasn't going to, but we will. I don't think we're going to see that much of it tomorrow. We saw a little bit of it today, but it was hazy a little bit at times. But, I mean, especially to the afternoon, it got better. Let's see. Not really showing a whole lot of smoke here. Yeah, I think it's finally thinning out. Finally, I think hopefully we're done with it for the season. I really hope so. We could look at the MODIS satellite and see how bad the smoke is. So You can see mostly clear skies across our area today. Even though it was very warm. And I'm not seeing too much smoke, so hopefully, maybe finally, it looks like they are getting some rain and cooler temperatures, and these fires, are going to have to just be put out naturally because they're in so many inaccessible areas that you have to wait for the rain and the colder temperatures to put them out. Once they get snow up there, it should really finish these fires off, and hopefully we'll get a break until we deal with it again all over again next year. So I think that's going to wrap up tonight's weather update. So the heat is done for. Hopefully we won't have to deal with it again until next year. So that's going to wrap up this weather update. Have a good night.